Hey, good morning. It's Dr. Bob Flower with your Master Pattern Report for Tuesday, December 18th. One more week to Christmas and 4 more days to the end of the world. Okay. Um, let's first talk about our economics and what occurred with our predictions. Last week we called for gold and oil move on the 11th and the 14th. The major part of the move actually occurred the day before, each the 10th and the 13th, and I think with the silver it also occurred on the 12th as well. But the major move was the day before, which is within the scope of our calls. We always say, if you look at our website, the call has a 24-hour period, either before or after. And we're so in any event, there was a good score, except that unfortunately silver took a big hit. Good time to buy though, because we definitely feel that before the end of the year we will be seeing definitely moves in gold and silver. In this wild ass stock market that for on some unknown reason is moving upward, will be moving downward. All right. We at this point we now feel that there will be some sort of fiscal cliff alternative. I don't think it's going to be resolved, but I think there will be an alternative if that makes sense to you. And what I would say about the strategy for Congress and the Senate and whatnot is that I think the Obama has now agreed to a $400,000 and above limit. So I think that what the Republicans should do is say, okay, we'll go along with that. However, and pass a bill to that extent and send it to the Senate. However, the bill should not include the sequestering. In other words, we're going to approve the cuts and the increases for the middle class and the increase for the upper class, but we're not going to approve the sequestering. So that what now happens is the bill goes to the Senate, and the layout is this. Okay, folks, we've agreed with the president and the Democratic Congress to approve the tax increases on the rich and the cuts for the poor. Okay, done deal. However, we're not approving the abolition, the discontinuance of the sequestering and those increases. I'm sorry, those savings are in place. I mean, it's an interesting proposition, and it really puts the administration in a deep hole, because the Republicans are upholding their end. Now, what are the Democrats and the president doing on their end? And I think that may have some very interesting results. I don't know that that's the way they're going to go, but that is definitely the way they should go, especially at this point where they still have, what, 10 days, 12 days, 13 days left. And we can certainly, I mean, that would be the best of both worlds, wouldn't it? Okay, so now we want to move on towards, well, next week, let me tell you this. We think that there's a major move coming on the 21st, Friday. It's actually the 22nd, according to the pattern. But we think it's going to happen on the 21st, possibly Christmas not Christmas, I'm sorry, Christmas Eve morning. But the way it's shaping up, the pattern is saying the 22nd. My sense of the pattern and what's going on is that it may well occur on the 21st, okay, and possibly into the 24th or the morning of the 24th. All right, and that's what oil and the metals and the market. Also, I think we're going to see a pretty wild swing on that date. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the economics in general. Uh, the word behind the scenes is that the big boys are bailing out, big time, out of out of banks and out of even major companies like Johnson and Johnson and Kodak is done, but some of your larger stocks, more stables, they're billing out. They're billing out on all of them, and a lot of your major players, Soros and Buffett, and just to name a few, and a number of others all over the world. So you know that there's some crap about to happen and hit the fan. Be aware of that. I still say that you're better off. You're better off in cash these days, and you better be careful of that, because if you've noticed, there has been no passing of the $250,000 banking protection, the FDIC insurance. So what may well happen is that it will either go away or revert back to the $100,000 level it was before. So if you're in that kind of category where you have those kind of funds, be very, very careful. I suggest that you spread your money out. What we're doing, what we have been doing for the past 2.5 years, is putting our money into various currencies so that we have a balance. It's worked out terrific for us. We've gotten an excellent return on those funds, and it's much safer than anything that's going on. Now, let's talk about another part. Why we're going to see a major flop here, and aside from what's going on in Europe, Japan. Japan has a new president, and his posture is he's going to get rid of deflation. He's going to inflate the living hell out of Japan and bring it out of this 2-decade period of deflation. And they're going to try and go for greater exports. So they're going to devalue the yen. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be one hell of a mess. When that happens, it's going to trigger a worldwide response in your financial markets, in your currency markets, and in your trade markets. So hang on, it's about to get real cute, very fast. Within the next 2 weeks or so, this is all going to start. Who would have thought that that's where it was coming from? Okay, but it may be too late to short the yen right now, but that kind of play may be the way to go. So our deflation, which is sort of a stagflation at this point in time, is about to be more readily defined. We're going to see that on one hand we have rising prices, inflation, and you can ask any of the wives or the women. They'll tell you from the grocery store that this is the case. And of course, the deflation, the prices are still not there, the money is still not there, the volume of acquisitions and purchases are still nowhere near where they can be, or should be. Okay, so Merry Christmas. This looks like it's what's the expression? A bug looking for a windshield, and it's just it looks like it's just going to be that. When this thing, when the negative part of this really hits, the core of it, I think what's going to happen, we're going to have a tremendous adjustment in the stock market, downward. Tremendous. I think it'll bounce back. But, you know, what happens to people when they see, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70% adjustments happening? You don't stay, you get out. So it's best to be out now rather than wait for that and then buy in later. It will come back, but it's going to happen. Okay, a word about Newtown and the massacre there, and we certainly, you know, our hearts and sensitivities are with those families and with those poor kids. And talking about my favorite subject, developing potential, and what should happen here is, you know, I'm not a big fan of going of using gun control as a means of solving the problem. I'm a systems thinker. I look at the whole picture and see everything, not just one part. Because if you take one part, you're going to have an imbalance in your answer. And the Justice Department did a study in 1998 or 99 relative to these guns, you know, the Army guns, and it showed that eliminating them is going to have very little effect on what's going on. And restricting, I mean, we have laws. This woman followed the law. But you know what happened here with this mother? This kid, when he was 12 years old, was threatening to kill her number of times. And she had her two younger sons drilled that when he started in, that they run to the car and they lock themselves in the car. Because this kid was grabbing knives and everything else. She had to take the knives and carry them with her in a box to prevent anything from happening. The kid gets a little older, and she's a gun nut. She's taking him to the shooting range and teaching him how to shoot. This kid, they said that this kid was killing these kids with deadly accuracy. I mean, you know, where I'm sorry, you know, and she's dead now, but that doesn't sound like too smart of a thing to be doing. I mean, you know, there should have been more attention on, you know, in a professional fashion to what was going on, and we need to have better ways of dealing with mental health, and I think that mental health is more of an answer than gun control. I mean, that's just a big political bullshit that the politicians, because they're deathly afraid of being shot up and thrown out of office by revolution. That's the only thing that they're concerned about. They're not concerned about people getting killed. For Christ's sake, more people are killed by drugs and cars than shootings, for God's sake. And so, my feeling is that you have to look at all of the factors. You have to look at mental health. You do have to look at guns to some measure, and you have to look at methodologies to be put in place to protect the kids in their classrooms. Now, some law enforcement people are saying, let's arm some of the teachers, or, you know, 2 or 3 individuals within the school, you know, that are willing to and able to, and train them how to use weapons, so that if this happens, you know, you could minimize it, or, you know, deal with it, or what have you. Armed guards, I don't think is any good, because they tried what happened. That's what happened with wasn't it with in Virginia Tech? The guy walked in and shot the guard. You know, so I mean, you know, and now you're unprotected. You know, perhaps they could supply teachers with tasers, you know, so that if you have something that happened where the principal went after this young man, and one of the teachers went after him with nothing, pencils, for Christ's sake, you know, and he slaughtered them. He killed them both. But if they had tasers, at least. I mean, who knows? It's another possibility that needs to be explored. You can't just say, oh, well, that won't work because of this or that. No, let's experiment. Let's put it in classrooms. Let's teach teachers or whoever, administrators in the building, how to use these things. Keep them up. So we have to spend another couple of $100, another $100, $150, whatever these things cost. I don't remember. But it's another way of preventing this from happening. And this is going to happen. Listen, it happens in Russia, a totalitarian state. They can't prevent it from happening there. It's part of nature. Evil exists. Just remember Maslow. There's no such thing as a bad boy or an evil person, just somebody. Nonsense. Evil exists, and it gets into people sometimes, and it tears them up. Okay, makes them into monsters, and that has to be part of our reality. Our reality can't be, we can't allow this to happen anymore. Really? When you get everybody to the point where they can deal intellectually and not emotionally, and not with physical distortions to handle themselves, it's going to happen, right? So that's my input into this, and I hope that you tune out these broadcasters who are promoting this, and Meet the Press and all these left-wing communists that are buying into a more restrictive society. This is the price of freedom. We have to figure it out. We have to work it out among ourselves. We have to be leaders in the world. They keep saying that 85% of the killings by guns happen in the United States. No kidding. The United States is the best country in the world. It's the freest country in the world. These are things that happen in a free society. That won't happen in these other societies where they have more restrictions, more social direction. Okay, so we definitely need to be more attentive to the welfare of our citizens, not only these little kids, but to each other, and that means being willing and ready to do things, to try things, to see what will work and what doesn't work and why it doesn't work. Okay. Again, looking at the whole is always the best thing to do when we're trying to resolve any kind of problem. Right? Otherwise, you're going to have a complete imbalance in any resolution for any matter. I don't care whether it's love or guns or what have you. Okay, look, that's it. I want to wish everybody happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. And I wish you all the best. What we'll do is we'll transmit next Wednesday, and by the way, let me tell you what we're going to do here. We talked about having interviews, discussions on camera. All right, here's the scenario. If you want to do an interview with me, question or what have you, or a challenge, whatever it is, here's what you're going to do. You're going to send us an email, right? And in the email, you're going to give us your name, your phone number, and the nature of your issue, okay? We are going to give you a specific time and date. We are going to call you back, and we are then going to film the interaction between myself and yourself. All right? Now, Janet is about to give me the email that you're going to send it to. Okay, and here we are. It's drrflower@masterpattern.net. Okay, drrflower@masterpattern.net. You're going to send us an email with your name, your phone number, the nature of your issue, and then we are going to contact you and make an appointment with you to have a discussion. We may not be able to get to everybody in 1 week or 2 weeks, but we will tape the interview, and we will air it in the following week or weeks. Okay. Again, God bless you, and I wish you all the best for the next couple of days, and I hope you survive the 21st. Watch out for the nuts, because they may be flying off buildings or in their cars or whatever. Okay? Go for it.